If you wake up 2, 3, sometimes 4 times every single night to pee, you know exactly how it steals your life one exhausted hour at a time. You lie there staring at the ceiling, bladder full again, even though you barely drank after dinner. Then the alarm goes off, and you drag yourself to the mirror, eyes puffy, face tired, already dreading another day where your energy is gone by lunch. You stop going to the evening card game at the senior center because you know you'll have to excuse yourself 3 times. Overnight trips with friends? You haven't done those in years. Even sitting through a movie feels risky now, and in the quiet moments you catch yourself thinking, what did I do to deserve this? Am I just falling apart? None of this is your fault, but the real reason it keeps happening is something your doctor almost certainly never told you, and it's been quietly buried for over 50 years. Your doctor probably told you it's an enlarged prostate, weak bladder muscles, or that you simply need to drink less water before bed. The commercials promise you'll take control with their pills. But those pills usually help for a little while. Then the problem comes right back, often worse, because they never touch the real cause my family has known for generations in our herbal shop in Hangzhou. Western medicine buried this truth because it threatens their profits. But here is what I want you to hold on to. There is a simple seed you can pick up for just $3, one my family has successfully used since 1971, that can change this pattern so completely you may finally sleep through the night again within weeks, waking rested instead of drained. The real reason this has been happening to you, and why it was hidden for over 50 years, will surprise you. The story you've been told is not quite right. It is not that your bladder is simply weak or your prostate has grown too large on its own. Those are just the downstream effects. What I've watched in hundreds of people your age is something quieter and far more fixable, a gentle but constant low-grade irritation and swelling in the tissues that control nighttime urine flow. Think of your bladder like an old garden gate at the bottom of a gentle hill. During the day, the gate stays mostly closed without much effort because you're moving around and gravity helps. But at night, when everything should be resting, that gate starts to leak pressure. The tissues around it become a little stiff and swollen, like old wood after years of damp weather. The latch doesn't sit quite right anymore. The signals fire too early. You wake up, you go, and then you lie there wondering why it keeps happening. My family's tradition noticed this pattern long ago, and the seeds I'm about to show you contain natural compounds that have been quietly helping for generations. Healthy fats that soothe irritated tissues, zinc that supports the prostate's normal size and function, magnesium that helps the muscles around the bladder relax the way they're supposed to at night, and plant sterols that gently reduce the swelling that keeps nudging that gate open. That is exactly why the usual pills often lose their effect after a short time. They try to force the muscles or reduce the urge for a while, but they never feed the tissues or calm the underlying irritation, so the gate starts leaking pressure again as soon as the medicine wears off. Every year this goes unaddressed. You lose more evenings with friends, more weekends with the grandkids, and more mornings where you actually feel rested instead of foggy and drained. I've seen it too many times to count. I want to tell you about Robert. He was 67 years old, retired from a factory job outside Cleveland. He had worked hard his whole life and looked forward to simple pleasures in retirement, especially taking his 2 young grandkids fishing at the lake on weekends. For 2 full years he had stopped doing that. He could not sit in the boat for more than an hour without needing a bathroom break. The kids would look disappointed when he had to cut the trip short again. He tried every medicine his doctor gave him. He cut out evening tea and coffee. He did the pelvic floor exercises. Nothing lasted. He told me he felt like he was letting the grandkids down, and that quiet shame sat in his chest every single weekend. I gave him the same simple seed protocol my family has used since 1971. Within 10 days, he noticed he was waking only once instead of 3 or 4 times. By the end of the 3rd week, he was sleeping straight through until morning on most nights. The first weekend he took the grandkids back to the lake, he stayed out the entire afternoon without a single trip back to shore. When he came to see me a month later, the tired, defeated look was gone. He was smiling, really smiling, when he told me he had gotten his evenings and his energy back at the same time. That same road is open to you too. Now I'm going to give you exactly what I gave Robert so you can start tonight. First, get yourself a small bag of raw unsalted pumpkin seeds, the plain green ones, sometimes called pepitas. They cost about $3 for a bag that will last you 3 or 4 weeks. Skip the roasted, heavily salted kind meant for snacking. Each evening, about an hour before bed, take 1 to 2 tablespoons, roughly a small handful. If your teeth are strong, chew them slowly. The chewing itself helps your body begin to absorb the nutrients. Many people in their 60s and 70s find it easier to grind the seeds lightly in a small coffee grinder or mortar and pestle until they become a coarse powder. Then stir that powder into a little warm water, plain yogurt, or a spoonful of applesauce. The warmth helps the magnesium and zinc go to work more gently. But here's what actually matters most: consistency for the first 4 to 6 weeks. Your body needs that steady nightly support to reset those tissues so the garden gate finally sits properly again. Some people notice a difference in the first 7 to 10 days. Others feel the shift more clearly around week 3 when the swelling has had time to calm down. Either way, keep going. Don't stop at the first improvement. While you take the seeds each night, picture that garden gate. Those natural compounds are like a little oil on the rusty hinges and a soft hand steadying the latch so it closes all the way when the sun goes down. The swelling eases. The signals calm. The body remembers how to hold the seal through the night the way it was designed to. Almost everyone who follows this tells me the same thing. One woman in her early 70s woke up one morning, realized she hadn't gotten up once the entire night, and actually laughed out loud in her kitchen because it felt so strange and wonderful. A man about your age told me his wife noticed he was no longer tossing and turning all night. They both started sleeping better together. But even that surface relief is only half the story. The nighttime trips are the sign everyone feels. Underneath them sits low-level inflammation that keeps pressing on those bladder tissues. And underneath that inflammation is almost always the gut. When the gut is out of balance, it sends signals that keep the whole system irritated day and night. The seed calms the surface irritation beautifully and quickly. But feeding the gut properly is what keeps the irritation from coming back month after month. That's why my family has always paired the seeds with one simple fermented drink. It's called kombucha. It delivers living bacteria, the fiber those bacteria need, and the healing compounds they make once they're well fed. When the gut settles, the inflammation steadies, and the nighttime pressure on the bladder fades for good instead of returning every few weeks. I make my own kombucha at home because I have the time and the knowledge. But for everyone watching online who can't brew their own, I give BoochBod Kombucha Gummies. The link is in the description, or you can search BoochBod Kombucha Gummies on Amazon. Robert is back on the lake with his grandkids every single weekend now. He feels like himself again in the mornings for the first time in years. And that same road is open to you. Your body at 65, 75, even 80 still knows exactly how to do this work when you finally give it the right simple materials. It has been waiting. It is never too late. If you're tired of waking up exhausted and missing out on the things you love, try the seed protocol tonight. I read every single comment on this channel, and I answer as many as I can. Drop a comment and tell me how many times you've been waking up lately, and whether you try the seeds. I want to hear what happens for you. Until next time.